What was once the Polk County Courthouse now serves as the Polk County History Center and houses the Historical Museum and Library. The museum serves Polk's community through special events, volunteer opportunities, and educational programs. More details are coming up next on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Tina Mann, and joining me in the studio today is Murtis Young, the Historic Preservation Manager at the Polk County History Center.
Hello, Tina.
Well, we're going into one of my favorite months. February and March are one of my favorites, so why don't we talk about what's happening at the History Center in March?
March is a great time at the History Center. We, continue to have our focus this year on the 19th Amendment.
Yes.
So most of our programming, most of the themes of our programming this year will have something. It'll hit some theme of democracy with the Constitution at the forefront. But we're going to start with our young learners. They're going to have an opportunity to come to the History Center and do a little origami frog. We thought that, hopping into March, a happy time, so we're going to have an opportunity to make little origami frogs.
I'm excited about that. I already told Abby she has to teach me how to make them, so I'll be looking forward to that. March is also Women's History Month, so I know that History Time Tots this month is going to have a focus on that.
We will, and we have a lovely book. We love this book. It's one of our favorites. It's Rosie Revere, Engineer, and this is the book that's by Andrea Beatty. So we're going to be reading that book, and one of the things that I really like about the way Abigail manages this program and coordinates the program, they read a book, there's an emphasis in the book, and then she'll do some things like they'll have a song that'll go along with it, they'll have some dancing or some activity that really makes the book come to life for our little History Time Tots. So that's Saturday, March 7th at 10 o'clock, and again Tuesday, March 10th at 10 o'clock at the History Center.
So that's the little ones for Women's History Month. What about the adults?
The adults, March, oh my goodness gracious, we have so many featured exhibits in the museum that include history about the accomplishments of women in the region and in Polk County. And I'm so happy to tell you and let everybody know, one of our coalition partners, which is the Polk Association of Women Lawyers, has their program in the History Center in February, had hosted that, but they created an exhibit, an interpretation of women who have accomplished firsts in Polk County, women of Polk County who have accomplished firsts in their career. So we have 17 women who are featured in accomplishing amazing things in their career, being the first to achieve these accomplishments. So these are going to be on display all through the month of March for people to come by and enjoy and celebrate our very own Polk County women who have been recognized for breaking barriers.
Yes, and breaking barriers is definitely a theme this year. Continue the suffrage theming. We are continuing the programming. So what are we doing for Democratic Dialogues?
Democratic Dialogues is, as we've talked about, is the noontime programming that we have created this year to go along again with the theme of democracy. And Dr. Sharon Masters, who is one of the members of the League of Women Voters, is going to be doing a history of the suffrage movement. It's actually a historical program that was developed by the National Office of the League of Women Voters, and she's going to present that for us.
Excellent, which goes right along with the exhibit we have at the History Center. And then, of course, they also have the new book club, The Politics at Play. Mm-hmm. I'm going to butcher this author's name. So it is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and the book is We Should All Be Feminists. So talk to us about the book club.
Well, I love this because this is a great time. One of the things that we're really focusing on is having the History Center become a center, a safe place to have conversations about different topics of democracy, different topics of voting, and the book club is just one of those opportunities. So this book is one afternoon an event on Thursday. This actually is March 26th. We'll read the book and then have an opportunity to talk about it and what the author's opinions are and what our opinions are and our thoughts on it, and just have conversation with a little cup of coffee and some conversation together. And the nice thing about it is Abigail does a great job of leading the discussion, so if you haven't had time to read the book, it's okay. You're going to come have the conversation and learn a lot anyway. So
you will, and you said afternoon, but it's actually early evening.
Early evening,
It's
yes.
at 5:30, and
Yes.
that's going to be on March 26th.
Yes.
That sounds like another good one. I know she's the author has done TED Talks
Correct.
on this, and
Correct.
she's pretty good. So let's briefly go over, because we're continuing to support our Centennial Coalition partners. Let's quickly go through those events, and of course they can always call the History Center if they need more information.
Correct. So the coalition partners, I think we're up to somewhere around 30 partners, all putting events together this year to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment. So starting Tuesday, March 3rd, showing of Iron-Jawed Angels. That's going to be at the Fort Meade High School's Fine Arts Auditorium. And then Saturday, March 14th is Susan B.'s Tea. That's sponsored by the Ponce de Leon chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution in Winter Haven. Then two events are going to be at the Lakeland Public Library in March 15th. Again, the showing of Iron-Jawed Angels. And then Doris Weatherford's lecture, Women in the Literary Landscape. So for either additional information on that, contact us, or of course Luann Mims at the Lakeland Library. Winter Haven is in the pool of coalition partners. So, speaking of pool, their program on March 26th at 5:30 is Saving Florida with Leslie Kemp Pool, and that's at the Winter Haven Public Library. And then next partner we want to talk about in March is the Davenport Historical Society. That is going to be a program about a purse of her own, and this is about Susan B. Anthony. You know, there's a wonderful quote that, you know, she actually said that women should have a purse of their own, and of course what she was referring to is independence and should have a voice in independence. So Davenport Historical Society, tickets are available only in advance, so give us a call and find out about that. And of course, for all the events all year, visit the Polk Arts Alliance calendar, and all of the 19th Amendment events are going to be posted on that calendar throughout the year.
Yeah, and for that last one, I will kind of give a little bit of a shout out to Jay Lenore, because she did such a good job doing Ruth Bryan Owen during the thing. So I know there were a lot of people who, you know, we were registration full, and there was a lot of people who weren't able to go. So that's a good opportunity to go and actually see Jay Lenore in action.
It is a do not miss.
Yes.
Do not miss Jay Lenore as Ruth Bryan Owen. Just don't miss it.
You don't miss her as anything. She's so spirited and wonderful, and she gets into character, and she's just, even just talking with her is fun, and she gives you energy. She does. She has so much energy. I wish I had that much. So, of course, then our normal programming is going to continue. So we're going to have the cemetery tour, which, of course, there's only two left. There's March and there's April, because after that it gets too hot and we don't do them anymore. So why don't you tell them a little bit about that?
Well, you know, it's just a great opportunity to just delve into history, local history, through a trip, walking tour through the Oak Hill Cemetery. There are just so many different types of historical moments available out there for discussion. So we meet at the History Center at 11, walk down to the cemetery. It's just a little bit over a mile. If that's too much of a walk, then you can park there and pick up the tour there. But it is a curated tour, very interesting, and all about the wonderful pioneers from Polk County who are buried there.
Excellent. And then March is always fun because it is the annual Bloomin' Arts Festival, and you guys always participate by hosting the Quilt Show. So let's talk about that.
We do. It's so beautiful. Bartow is it's just such a great place to welcome visitors. It's, you know, Bartow's just charming.
It is.
And such a wonderful downtown place to be and spend time. And with Bloomin' Arts and the artists all out in the streets, and children's art, and, you know, professional art. And yes, inside the History Center, we have the quilts on display. So the Quilt Show is a one-day event that's just on Saturday, but we sure welcome everybody to come and spend the day with us on Saturday on March 7th.
I had no idea you could get that intricate in quilts. I mean, I go through the aisles of the quilts and I just marvel because they're just masterpieces. And then, of course, in March, we're going to have the architectural tour on March 21st. So what is the special emphasis this time?
You know, it's kind of interesting. We're going to talk about early security measures that were in place. Nothing like they are today, that you would expect today when you enter a building, but it's going to be just a very interesting story about what we did to keep the building secure and people secure back in the day.
That's important. Well, also, the Genealogy Series is going to continue. So what does Preston have in store for us this month?
I'm just so proud of our library, and I'm just so proud and happy about the programs that Preston Petermeyer, our research historian, has put together. So March 28th, that's on a Saturday, and it's at 10 o'clock in the morning, Jack Butler is going to present the tombstone just said wife of. And it's interesting, I hadn't really ever thought about this until Preston started talking about the program and what we'll be doing. So frequently, you know, a wife dies and that would be the tombstone, wife of, you know, whomever. And how would you find out anything about her or her background? So they're going to talk about that dilemma and how to work around that when you're conducting genealogical research. So again, that's March 28th at 10, and Jack Butler is going to be our presenter.
It's funny that you mentioned that because we walked through Savannah. That has some pretty famous cemeteries, and I was noticing, you know, a lot of the tombstones are family vaults, and they'll say the child of, or I'm like, they're not really giving names or any information, but you know, the number of kids who died at early ages, and they're so much different than your modern current tombstones. It's like completely different because, you know, that cemetery filled up ages ago. So no new people have been put in there for a very long time. So it's not like walking through the cemetery down the street where your grandparents were buried, because it's completely different experience. So that's a really cool topic, and it's something that I wouldn't have thought of. So let's also talk about the elevators. We have a little bit of construction going on, so let's mention that.
So about March, we should be wrapping up pretty quickly the elevator that's down on the east wing, and if not, we may, you know, that'll be early March. We anticipate having that one completed. So that's the east entrance, and then we'll start on the elevator in the central part of the building in the rotunda area. And we think that one's going to take about 8 weeks to complete, but after that, boys, zip bam boom, we're going to have really fast modern elevators.
That'll be great, because sometimes you sit there and you wonder if those doors are ever going to open. And you're like, I'm going to get stuck on here. I'm going to get stuck on here. And sometimes I'm in there on a Monday when you guys aren't open because I'm helping you, and I'm like, I'm not going to get out. I'm not going to get out. But so that's a definite plus. But there's always going to be at least one elevator open, so people still have access. So March is incredibly packed. It's Women's History Month. It sounds like a wonderful time to visit the History Center. So everybody needs to come check it out.
We'd love that.
Well, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you too.
Polk County has a rich history and heritage, and the Polk County History Center is continuously thinking of new ways to help Polk residents experience that history. The museum's collection includes natural and cultural objects related to Polk and the greater Central Florida area that represent our history from pre-Columbian to present-day eras. The artifacts on display at the museum represent individuals, cultural groups, and events significant to the region. Located at 100 East Main Street in Bartow, the History Center is open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. For more information about exhibits and events, you can check them out on the web at polkhistorycenter.org or give them a call at 863-534-4386.